everybody, and welcome back to Mumlemmas and More. Before we start, I would just like to thank our fabulous sponsor, Mamma Mio, the expert pregnancy skincare range created by mamas for mamas. And we do, in fact, have a special discount code for you all. With the code, you get 25% off the full range, so make sure you stay tuned to find out more. Today's guest is a TV presenter. She's a beauty columnist, and she is an expectant mum. And I actually used to be her intern. It is Sarah Jossel.
I love that fact. Didn't know that.
Yeah, there you go. That was something you didn't know about me.
Something I didn't know about you. I've also known Sarah for, feels like 100 years. We've worked together in the industry for, I'd say over like 20 years. And so I knew her kind of when she was really young, and it's amazing to kind of see her pregnancy journey.
She's so lovely, and it's been, for me, so nice to see how her career has evolved.
Yeah.
And it's, when it's one of those people, and they are so lovely and so great at what they do. And I love where she is now at Sunday Times Style. Like, her column's great. But I just think everyone who talks about her will always say how lovely she is.
Totally agree. Yeah, so she is the beauty editor at Sunday Times Style. And I think she is a real expert in this field.
Yeah.
I think she's been in it for so long, she probably knows every beauty question of all time.
I mean, I'm so excited. She agreed to come on the podcast. She's 8 months pregnant.
Yeah.
Probably exhausted. So I'm feeling super grateful that she actually said yes. And we get to quiz her on her pregnancy journey. But I mean, I really just want to ask her loads of skincare questions.
Me too. I feel like skincare, especially, I guess, pregnancy and also
topic.
being a mum.
Yeah.
There's just so much information out there, and it's really confusing. I know we both have felt that and have talked about it. So just to hear from a real expert that just knows this industry inside out, just some real quick top tips. So today, the 3 mumlemmas that Sarah has brought to us are how to know what products you can and can't use during pregnancy, huge topic, pregnancy skin, and what you actually need as a first-time mum.
Well, we can help her with that.
We can help her with that.
Okay. I'm so excited for this one. Let's do
Me
it.
too.
Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
How are you feeling?
I feel great, even though I sound really croaky like a rhinoceros, but there's nothing I can do.
It's such a pregnancy thing.
At 8 months, yeah. I look like a hippo and I sound like a rhinoceros.
You
It's
don't.
going well.
I just love your bump. It's making me actually really miss mine.
Me too. I love that stage.
Yeah.
Everything looks good in clothes when you've got that much of a bump.
I do feel like it seems like lots of you have your babies and then just forget all the troublesome sides
That is
of
so,
this stage.
I think that is the brain does it for a reason.
The brain does.
So you
Make
forget. It's so true, actually, thinking back to the late stages and just, the voice changes, your ribs expand.
You're uncomfortable. And then I'm just looking at you like, oh, you're just like glowing and you've got a beautiful bump and you're like, oh.
You forget, don't you?
It's more water.
I used to get really out of breath. I'd be shooting content and I'd be like, and I wouldn't even be moving. I'd be like sat and I just ran out of breath.
I remember that too.
Okay,
the joys, hey?
We're going to have a really lovely, easy chat, and we're going to start by playing a little bit of an icebreaker game, which we like to do with all our guests.
Love being put on the spot.
Yeah, so we're going to put you on
Sorry
the spot.
about that.
Just say the first thing that comes into your head. There's no wrong answers. Just be as open and truthful as possible.
I sound like a really, really sensible mum to be. Can I bring back tequila shots? I really miss those.
No, I'm sure after
or gin and tonics or margaritas.
8 months
take
pregnant,
anything.
you're just like missing
alcohol. Can I bring
cocktails?
back alcohol? Yeah, and I love it. Every time I go out, people are like, just drink. I don't want to drink now, but I'm excited to drink soon.
It definitely changes the drinking thing. I think everyone's so excited. That's what gets you through the last couple of months, isn't it? And then you drink and you're just like on the floor.
Do you get really drunk really quickly?
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I remember being so excited to have a drink after the baby came, and then the reality of this. And I'm not going to try and freak you out, but the reality of how tired you are at night, I'd never be able to face it. I was like, I can't go out in the evening because I'm going to be up throughout the night with the baby.
Okay, we have one rule today. I want no horror stories that are going to scare me.
I agree.
And what's the other thing I have to answer?
Okay, so that's what you would bring back.
Okay.
A boozy night out. And what would you leave in the past? Is there anything you really hate? Anything that you just...
Do you know what? I spoke about this today. I hate, this is quite a niche one.
Okay.
But tell me what you guys think. I hate those reels where people dance and point at words, and then they're like backing dancers, and they do this over like a really serious thing. So sometimes it can be like a really serious topic, and I'm like, why are you dancing?
Yeah, like it doesn't go together.
The one that I saw today was like, check your vagina. I was like, what are you doing? Why are you dancing?
What is the dance about?
Yeah,
Is
check
it
your vagina.
Is it trying to make it more interesting?
Well, I think they think Instagram likes that content, so they're all sort of feeding the algorithm beast. But I think go on strike, put it in the past. That would be my advice.
Leave it in the past.
Okay,
I think they're brilliant answers.
Okay,
Love
good.
those.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Well
Phew.
done, you.
I don't know if I'm sweating because I'm nervous or because I've got a human attached to me. It could be anything. Or
I think it's the human.
You two
I
could
think
both
it's the
just
human.
keep fanning.
Fan you.
Lovely.
Do you actually want one of these to fan yourself?
Maybe, yeah. So I've got a quick question for you
yes.
both. Am
Okay.
I the first mum to be on here?
Yeah.
So this is a bit different because I just like to warn everyone at home. I've never covered mum content. This is my first
Is it
sort of
really?
journey into motherhood. So don't cancel me if I say anything wrong.
You're not going to say anything
No, I
wrong.
think it's really interesting.
Okay.
You know, to talk about your
I don't know what-
pregnancy journey and
Okay.
your expectations and all of this.
So this is a mum to be lemma. Nope, that's
Yeah.
not us.
But it's definitely, it's also, it already starts. You become a mum the moment you get pregnant.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're already a mama.
Yeah,
I'm a
super
mum,
interesting.
I'm a
You
mum.
are. Don't freak out.
Okay.
Mumlemma to be.
Yes, mum lemma to be. That's better.
So yours is, how do I deal with every product being off the table during pregnancy? Huge topic. We both had loads of questions around this when we were pregnant. I'm sure so many of our listeners do. Go for it.
So I guess with this one, it was the whole concept that I'm a beauty editor. I know beauty products for a living. I test products, I review products, and I couldn't get over how confused I was. So I thought, if I'm confused, I can't imagine how everyone else must be feeling. And there's one phrase that absolutely drives me mad. If pregnant, check with your healthcare provider before use. Drives me mad because
it says it on everything.
It says it on everything. And are they saying, call your NHS GP who is so overworked, who is so busy, and say, hi, can I use my Laura Mercier bubble bath? Like, I mean, it would be all day, every day.
Oh my God, this is so true.
So that's what goes through your head. And then you're like, okay, I just won't use it. So then you're sort of starving yourself of all your favorite products. And I think for me, the hardest bit is it's already such an anxious time. You're already frazzled. You're already so nervous. Have a hot bath. Is the bath too hot? Is the bath not hot enough? You don't know what, ice is dangerous. You don't know.
You look online and you read all these different things.
Everything sounds so scary. So that phrase just makes everything more scary.
Yeah, like who are you meant to ask?
So I've asked a few people about it, and they've said to me it's because they can't actually officially say if you can use it or
They
not.
can't
because
test.
products can't be tested on pregnant people. So I get why it's there, but I sort of feel like it doesn't help anyone, and it makes the brands feel that they've done their job, and it makes pregnant people around the world just feel really nervous.
I actually used to look on the back of packets and totally freak myself out about the whole thing. And I actually didn't use any products for fear of this exact thing.
Totally.
For months. And that's hard when you used to being a beauty junkie and, slathering it on. It's like you just don't know which way is up.
No, and I think a lot of products, when they'd come in, I'd say to brand ambassadors, because I'm lucky in that way that I've got access to brilliant people who work for brilliant brands, but they would say, officially, we can't say yes or no, but yes, you can use it. And I'm like, that's such an unfair answer, because you're sort of not making me feel...
And you can't really tell other people.
Safer, and I can't say that to other people. So the general understanding now, from what I've sort of learned from talking to independent people like obstetrician gynecologists, who, again, I just want to say one thing. Even your doctor and your GP don't have the answers. There is no module that they learn when they go through medical school that tells them, okay, when it comes to pregnancy, these are what you can and can't use. They don't learn. They can choose to take it upon themselves to be clued up on that subject, but they don't learn it at any point. So you could argue that they don't know any better than all of us, which is also what's crazy, because it says on packages, check with your healthcare provider. They don't even necessarily know. But the main things I would say that people say that there are clear studies of what you can and can't do, and that is retinoids. Don't use retinoids through pregnancy and breastfeeding. High strength salicylic acids, they have said stay away from that if you can. And essential oils, because they can be irritating and your skin might feel more sensitive. But otherwise, most things are fine.
And
no
lasers, stuff like anything like laser hair removal, anything like that.
Sorry, that was just more about ingredients. But in that world, definitely, I hear of people that are still having filler and Botox when they're pregnant because there are theories that it doesn't go in the body.
That horrifies me.
Yeah, no
Me
Botox,
too.
no fillers, no laser hair removal. But I understand it because there's a lot of arguments for why you can. So
Are there?
Yeah. So that's why I think it's all just such a minefield at an already very anxious time.
Have you had any treatments? Obviously, when you're pregnant, it really changes as well. Like even from having a simple massage, there's a lot that you're not meant to do it for the first 3 months.
Yeah.
But you can have pregnancy massages and facials and ones that are safe. Have you enjoyed that?
Well, I found one lady that was so amazing, but then at the end, she started talking to my tummy. And I don't feel I can ever have her over again.
Why do people do that?
She was
or
like,
touch you.
hi, baby. Hi. I was like, is there a dog in the room? Like, who is she talking to? I didn't know what was going on. I was mind blown. Then I realized she was actually talking to my stomach. And I was like, never again. But it was a really good massage. So I'm torn.
Annoying.
I'm torn. Like, baby talking lady. Or
I had that.
Maybe just be like that.
massage.
I'm really tired, so I'm just gonna have a little
So
nap.
when she turns you over, she's like, cooey. And I'm like,
No.
I had it. Do you remember? When you're really the early pregnancy stage, and you have an internal scan.
yeah.
Yeah. You know those ones.
Yeah.
I had a sonographer basically that was talking to my baby
No,
inside.
that's so weird.
And she was like, "Hi, baby," the same
Yeah.
thing. And I was like, "Oh, this is so uncomfortable anyway.
No,
this
that's
is so
weird.
awkward."
Sorry, can I just say it really reminds me that how you start off with the internal ones
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then like one scan is and like, no, it can just go in the tummy.
Yeah.
I had like got naked, taken all my clothes off, and then she was like, you can get dressed, we're just going to do your tummy. And I was like, it's my first child, I don't know what I'm doing.
You got your legs wide
I
open.
know,
Wide
yeah,
open
you're
in the
there.
stirrups. And then my husband was like, you're so embarrassing. I was like, I don't know
but
what
you
I'm doing.
don't know.
For my first
I
baby,
thought all my scans were going to be like that. I was
Same.
like, that's what they do in the movies. Like, I don't know.
I actually took my mum to the first ever scan. I didn't realise it was my first baby. I had no
Yeah.
idea they would do an internal scan. And my mum was just sat there expecting it to be on my tummy. And they were like, okay,
So you had
put your
the
legs in the
opposite. They
stirrups.
were like,
And
"Get
I
your
was like,
legs up."
oh my God, Mum, like we're really close, but not that close. It's just like, you can't be in here.
Sorry, right, I've totally diverted. Good pregnancy treatments.
Yeah, have you
Yes,
enjoyed, I
so-
found it was such a nice way to just have a bit of a
Completely.
relax. And
Yeah.
I just loved the feeling of being touched when your back hurts. And
The best.
the massage was so good.
There's just two things I would say. One, you really want to go to someone who feels confident to do a pregnancy massage because there is nothing worse than paying for a massage and they just tickle
I had
you
that,
'cause
yeah.
they're so
So
scared.
You find a good
true.
person
Like,
and
why are
then
you
just try and
tickling me?
get
I can
to
tickle
see that
myself.
one person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you always have to go on your side for a pregnancy massage? Or
Yeah.
are there
Well,
things where you can...
Elemis do a massage where your belly goes in a hole.
I'd heard that. I
in a
thought there
hole.
might be,
Yeah,
yeah.
Elemis do it. I've actually never had it because I don't mind going on my side. I sort of just
Yeah, I like
wedge
being on my side with the
pillow.
pregnancy pillow.
Yeah, just like in between me
Yeah.
that I hug. So I've always enjoyed it. But you've got to find someone who feels confident to do it.
Do you still do gel nails?
So this was another one that was everyone gave me
Yeah.
a different answer. Shellac is dangerous. Not dangerous. Let's change that word. Shellac is not advised during pregnancy. Stick to just using normal polish. And then the next person was like, "Oh, I used shellac till my birth. I
Yeah.
don't know. I still don't know the answer, but I've gone half. I've got normal polish on my hands and shellac on my toes. So
I
that
did
sums me up.
shellac.
Yeah.
I did too.
I did.
Yeah.
And then because
And then what about hair dyeing? Because I didn't colour my hair at that time.
Yeah.
I didn't have hair colour, so I wasn't sure. But I think you only use certain types of dye, or
Well, there's low. You've got to then talk to each hairdresser. Will have a different theory.
Yeah.
Like Olaplex, some hairdressers say totally fine to use, and others will say no, you can't, which is so confusing. And then what was the weirdest thing is, when I went for like one of those medical pedicures, the expert said to me, don't do shellac on your toe, don't do gel on your toes, because when you go into birth, if something's wrong, the first place it's going to show is your toes.
Yeah.
Like they'll go black.
And you're not allowed to wear.
But they told me
nail
that on my
varnish.
hands.
Yeah.
But what I don't get is we're not in the 15th century. Like, isn't that what all the machines are for? That you're like hooked up to?
But you actually
think it's
aren't
on
allowed.
your hands.
Like, your toes.
You actually aren't allowed to wear nail polish when you go in to give. Well, I wasn't. Were you? When you go in to give birth,
They said it's fine as long as it was clear.
Right, they said none to me. So there must be something in that.
I was
nails.
just thought, surely, like, that's why you're hooked up to all those things, all the machines. Wow, we sound really
Because
smart.
also,
You're hooked
if you
up to
don't
all
know,
those things.
like I had planned C-sections. If you don't know when you're going to go into labour, are you just meant to not have nail polish on at all in the last few weeks of your pregnancy? Because surely if you're rushed into labour, you don't have time to be like, quick, my water's broken, but I must take my nail varnish off.
She just kicked. Maybe she's like, Mum, get your nail polish off.
Yeah, hello, think about me, Mum.
Are you having a girl?
Yes, it's a girl.
Oh, love having girls.
It's a girl. But one beauty editor that I know, she said her water's broke, and the hospital said, don't come in right now. Like, go home, get all your stuff. She said she just went through this really weird, like, desire. She went home, she washed her hair, shaved her legs.
Lovely.
Like, took her, and I was like, I really don't, like, in the movies, that's not what happens.
I had
in the
a
movies,
wax,
everyone's
had a
like,
blow
rushing.
dry. Yeah.
But planned C-section is different.
Yeah.
I just went in totally natural and I thought, oh, I'm just going to be all natural and have my baby. And then I look back at the photos now and I'm like, for God's sake.
I was so grateful for my blow
That
dry.
is not a framer.
Yeah.
But then it's different. It's so different if you've no idea when you're going to go into labour.
That's me. Could be now, guys.
Could be, she's just picked.
The next lemma is how to deal with pregnancy skin. And I feel like we've talked about loads of that already.
Yes.
But what would you say are like the most kind of common pregnancy skin concerns? Because it changes everything. I know it's different for each person. Everyone experiences pregnancy differently. Some people are just glowing from day one.
The three things that people say are the biggest skin changes is acne, number one. Melasma.
It's melasma. I know you said that before. Is melasma where you get the kind of pigmentation?
I have that.
Yes.
I
So
have
they
that
call
too.
it the pregnancy mask because it comes out massively when you're pregnant.
Why
So
is that?
hormones.
Is
It's
it?
all
It's
to
all
do with
hormonal.
hormones. So people get the moustache.
Yeah.
I get it under my eyes.
So it's either forehead, moustache, or under the eyes where people tend to get it the most. I've got like a nice big blob on my cheek. It's just really random. But that melasma, and then pigmentation, which is very similar to melasma, but they're sort of the three things that people struggle with. And then on the flip side, there's this promise of the pregnancy glow that at 32 weeks, I've not seen it yet.
By the way, I didn't get it either. Did you?
Millie's like, yeah.
Oh, Millie's like, yes, I got it.
No, like
Bye,
my
Millie.
first pregnancy, one of my friends guessed I was pregnant because she was like, "You're just glowing," and I hadn't told anyone. You know, it's super early. I'd found out like the week before, at like literally, I was like 4 weeks pregnant, like very early, and she was like, "Are you pregnant?" And I just like went really quiet, and it was Bubble, and she just like guessed it. But
Really?
And that was from your glow.
I
Someone guessed mine, but it's because I was eating a cream cheese sandwich like in front of them at 7 a.m. And they were like, "Are you okay?"
You okay? You look green.
What do you mean? It's like my full
I went
sandwich
through
in like
different
2
phases.
hours.
You have to put put a reminder on your
Although
kitchen cupboard or something, or your bathroom cupboard or wherever you keep
Mine
them.
got so depleted that I had to take the hospital ones. So it's actually better to take normal supplements, I think, the whole way through because, the hospital ones are not good. You know what iron kind of does to the body.
Yeah.
Especially when they're in, such high doses. So it's actually better to take the supplements.
Just remember to take them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely the other thing is your iron deficiency.
So what do
throughout.
you use? What's your kind of routine then, I guess, having
Yeah.
been through all of this?
Did you decide to change everything you were using or only certain things?
So this part always makes me really sad actually because I had really bad acne when I was a teenager, and it's one of the reasons why I probably got into beauty. It's because I loved the problem solving side of beauty. It wasn't so much like, oh, I love lipstick. For me it was, oh my goodness, if I use this product it's going to help get rid of my acne, or it's going to help with my hairy arms that I feel self-conscious about. You know, it was the fact that you could solve problems. So skin was such a big thing for me, and I'd got it on track, and I would have come here with no makeup on. Like, that's the stage I was at with my skin. And then when I fell pregnant, my skin just got terrible.
Really?
And people
just breaking out
non-stop, melasma, and it was like full on bumps under the skin. And when you are a beauty journalist and people come to you for advice, you want to feel like you've sort of nailed that subject.
Yeah.
And when people look at you, you feel really ashamed that like, I can't give you advice because look at me, even though I can give you advice and I am knowledgeable, but it can make you feel like you're not good enough to be in this job.
It really affects how you feel.
Totally. It massively plays on your confidence. So essentially all of it happened probably like week 7. My skin just started to flare up, and it never got better. It just hasn't got better.
It looks great now.
It does look great.
And I'd say in the last like 2 weeks, I've started to figure out how to keep it as tame as possible. But I've got a lot of makeup on today, and that's so not what I had before. But essentially I've taken all the retinoids out, which I did obviously as soon as I found out I was pregnant, and I've been using an ingredient called azelaic acid,
right,
which is incredible. It's like the unsung hero of the skincare world.
I've never even heard of it.
Oh my gosh, azelaic acid, chef's kiss. It's so good.
I'm like,
yeah. So in the morning you would use your cleanser, your vitamin C, your azelaic acid, and your SPF.
Right.
Like that would be your routine in the morning.
How do you apply it? Is it like a serum or?
So it's a cream.
It's a cream.
Yeah, it's a cream. Essentially, azelaic acid is incredible for rosacea, for acne, for uneven skin tones, for anyone who doesn't actually get on with retinoids. Their dermatologist would say definitely try azelaic acid,
right.
And it just helps. It just helps with everything.
Okay.
So presumably obviously safe in pregnancy, but also for kind of skin conditions. So it kind of works for both those things.
It's brilliant for pregnancy because you have to take out your retinoids. So you swap the azelaic acid in. But most dermatologists will look at your skin and say, get the azelaic acid into your routine.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Retinol's actually one thing I haven't got into because like just with before my pregnancies, I was on Roaccutane for acne.
Okay.
Then I had a while while my skin recovered, and I knew I couldn't get pregnant for a while after being on the Accutane. And then obviously you can't use retinols when you're pregnant. So and then I didn't want to use it like when I was breastfeeding or for a few months afterwards. Then I got pregnant again. So I basically haven't been able to use them.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a bit of a minefield. I'm like, should I be using one?
I get recommended it all the time, but I feel like it's a minefield too.
Yeah.
It's so funny because when I look at my routine, I'm like, but it's so straightforward. See such a difference when you do use a retinol and you find one that you get on with. But I totally get from the outside perspective, like, how do you choose which one?
Yeah, there's so many. Which strength? Where do you start?
Aren't you also meant to use it for 3 months before you see any sort of difference? So I feel, is that right?
I mean, they say because it's your skin cycle of 20, it's 21 to 28 days before you will see anything. But I actually saw it very quickly with my skin. And it also depends on which one you're using. So if you go to dermatologists, they may give you a prescription strength, which is called tretinoin. And tretinoin, just going very sciencey very quickly, is amazing for acne. So if you've got acne, you're going to use that kind of a retinoid. But if you're using it for anti-aging and fine lines, you won't necessarily want to use tretinoin. You might use, the brand I always recommend to people when they say it's a minefield, where do I begin? I say go to Medicate.
Yeah.
Because you can start Medicate and you can start on the lowest percentage, which I think is either 0.1 or 0.3. I can't remember.
So it's really gentle.
Really gentle. I think they're just called Cristal Retinol, then it goes 3 upwards, I think. But then, so essentially you do it and there's like no confusion.
Fine.
And you would do it in the evening and you would do cleanser, retinoid, moisturizer.
Got it.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. And then in the morning, you'll have to just remember to use SPF.
So that's, I guess, for after you've had all your babies and you've had lots of sleepless nights.
Yeah, no retinoids for me
and
for a
you're
while.
Knackered.
But yeah, exactly.
Get those retinoids on.
Unless you've got like a serious skin condition, and then obviously consult a dermatologist. But for the general person, in the morning, cleanser, vitamin C, azelaic acid, moisturizer, SPF.
And vitamin C, like a hydrating serum with vitamin C.
Just any vitamin C that you'd get on with.
Yeah.
And evening, cleanser, retinoid, moisturizer.
Oh, that's good advice.
That's it.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah. Once you've got it like that, you can always just stick it on your bathroom cabinet. And every time you look at it, you just go 1, 2, 3.
And that makes a huge difference to your skin, does it? If you did that routine every day.
Well, for me, the biggest thing I noticed is consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So we love to chop and change, and we love instant gratification, and we love to be totally, drawn in by something we see on Instagram, and then suddenly it's all turned up at our house and we've changed our whole routine like weekly. If you can, turn off the noise, listen to the experts, not just random things that you're sort of finding along the way, and stick to it for 21 to 28 days. I think you will see a huge difference in your skin. But there's a doctor called Dr. Emma Wedgeworth, and she is so brilliant, and she has such great Instagram content. She's a consultant dermatologist, and she speaks a lot about product hierarchy. And you two will not use the same products. You've got different skin types. But it's so easy to just think, well, my friend uses it, I'll use it too.
So easy to
So
think that.
you've got to work out your own product hierarchy. Do you have oily skin? Okay, then I need a cleanser for oily skin. Do you have acne prone skin? Okay, I need a moisturizer for acne prone skin. Just remember, your product hierarchy will be different to the next person's. But those stages are a general overall perfect way to sort of get yourself into a solid routine.
Love
I've
that.
massively
thank
turned
you.
Mumlemmas into a skincare.
Oh yes, Mumlemma 3. What do I actually need as a first-time mum? This is your Mumlemma.
Well, this was a really interesting one because I put this on my Instagram and I said, what are the best things you've ever bought, with a big thumbs up, and what do you regret and never ended up using? And can I tell you which one really blew my mind?
Yeah.
That was so controversial. A nappy bin. Everyone was like, do not waste your money on a nappy bin. They were the most useless things. You'll just
Really?
put it in a normal bin. And then my sister-in-law was like, who follows you? You have to have a nappy bin.
I use my
need-
nappy bin all day, every day.
Yeah.
My Instagram followers do not believe in nappy bins.
I think
it was like a religion.
Maybe
They
it
were.
depends on the nappy bin, but you want something with a lid that closes.
Yeah.
Because, like, it stinks.
It's bad.
Well, everyone said you end up just taking the nappy bin and putting it into your kitchen bin anyway. So you may as well
Oh my
just
God.
put it in your bin.
Ew,
No,
I
you
never
take
put
it-
it in the kitchen bin.
Yeah.
Because I am not a mum yet, so I don't know.
It's very personal, clearly, to each person.
Clearly.
I
agree.
I don't ever want to put nappies in the same
the
bin
actual
as the food
bin.
waste. It's just like
Agreed.
yucky. I don't want them in the kitchen.
Well, if you do that, you're always like, what's that smell? And it's always a rogue nappy.
You go
in
to
the
put like your
kitchen
tea
bin.
bag in the bin, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, nappy smell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. People said they're waste of money.
Right.
I mean, I use a nappy bin. Also, at the beginning, the baby's in your room,
Yeah.
and you're changing nappies in the night. So and you and then so you don't want to just put them in. I mean, you can
Yeah.
put them in a nappy sack.
Yeah.
So that does like hide the smell a bit. To be honest, don't be too freaked out because when the baby's small, the poos really don't smell very bad. They don't.
No.
They kind of smell a bit sweet, actually. I think.
You're like, bleh.
No, but the smell of when
Time
they
to
when they
go.
actually eat
Oh my God,
solids is
stop
like
it.
so totally different. Okay, so you're not quite ready for the poo.
Yeah,
talk.
can't.
By the time
baby poo smells like licorice. I
It's-
hate
it
Sambuca.
does.
God, I brought it back to alcohol.
I feel
baby poo does not smell bad compared to like.
But maybe
toddler
that's
poo.
what people are saying. You don't need a nappy bin.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't smell bad, so you end up putting it
Okay,
there
so-
and then moving it over
But your
anyway.
baby is going to get bigger, and then it will smell.
Okay, so maybe you need like a toddler nappy bin. I don't know.
I feel like when you ask this question to your friends when you're pregnant, the amount of lists of
Oh
just
my
like
gosh.
it was like a scroll. I'd be
Yeah.
like, what do I need? Thinking it would be five.
People
things.
would send me like Excel
Yeah.
spreadsheets.
And it would be like, like a scroll that would roll
totally.
out. And I'd be like, hang on, wait, what? And actually, now I've had 2 kids. I'm like, you literally don't need half of that stuff. I mean, not even a
Yeah.
quarter of that stuff.
What did you waste money on?
Oh, things like, it's just personal to me, but things like baby bath thermometers, I feel like it's quite intuitive. You kind of know what temperature you've got to do, a baby bath. And, stuff like that, you just go and buy all this stuff and, I didn't need it. I feel like a lot of it is
I
intuition.
did like having a baby thermometer.
You did. Exactly. There you go.
Because it made me feel safe that I'd checked the water was the right temperature for the baby, and not what I thought was right for me, because I quite like a warm bath, like quite a hot bath.
Yeah.
That shows how personal it is.
So
see?
I really liked having a baby thermometer, and to be honest, didn't really use it with my second baby, but with my first baby, I did really like it. But the one I've got, you can use it as a bath thermometer or a room thermometer. So I quite like just using it in the baby's room, just to like keep an eye on what the temperature is in there as well. But it's, very personal.
So what would you say for both of you are like the 3 best things you ever had when the babies first arrived?
I loved having a baby bath. It's like a baby bath seat.
Is this the Angel Care?
Yeah.
Thingy-majiggy?
Yeah. Because when you try and bath your baby, they're so small and fragile, and it just helps you to feel a bit safer rather than just trying to, because otherwise also depends if you're on your own, but if you're on your own, you're trying to hold them with kind of 2 hands, and then you need a hand to like, dab them with a flannel or like pour water over them, and it's quite, you're like so scared of like, I found it really overwhelming. So I also love just actually having a bath with the baby, but I'd always do it with Hugo there, so he could like pass me the baby.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed that as well. But the baby bath seat I've used a lot with both girls, and then they do one for when they're like sitting, when they can actually like support themselves a bit more, which is from like 6 months. That's one thing.
Mine were, I was just crap at doing those swaddle things, which I feel like in the hospital they're like, and they do them, and it's really quick, the muslin thing, and I just never ever wrapped my head around it. So I used to use the like Baby Mori little zip up things that like just keep them in really tight. Yeah, you can get a zip up
swaddle.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that also everyone said is, please don't go wild on expensive clothes, because they really fit for about a day.
And the first 3 months I found just vests and baby grows and maybe a cute little cardigan, little hat, depends on the time of year. Yeah. And they just live in that, and you wash them all, they go through quite a few in a day. Loads of bibs.
Actually, that's one thing people said, is just get like 1,000 muslin cloths.
Yeah, that's it. Literally, that's it.
And then one woman was like, get loads of paper knickers for you, because you're going to bleed loads. And I was like, can we go back to stuff for the baby? But it was fascinating. You don't know any of it. You don't know what's going to happen to you postpartum.
That is a thing. You actually have no idea that is a thing.
No.
I think also, like, we both had cesareans. You kind of don't really think you don't even think about it. I didn't, did you?
I only did because a friend told me that
exactly.
She was bleeding after birth. I was like, what do you mean you had a C-section? Why were you bleeding?
Yeah.
And because there's your uterus still needs to shed a lot afterwards. So you have quite heavy bleeding and like clots coming out of you.
Totally.
So you're both in.
And I knew none of this. If it wasn't for lovely people on Instagram informing me, I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, definitely pack the reusable. Well, you can get really great like kind of like period knickers now. So those are great if you want like a reusable option, or you can get the disposable kind of big stretchy like Tender Lady pants.
Bridget Jones.
But they come now, and you can get them in like nude or black, and there's ones with like a lace effect, so it's not, there are like kind of more attractive looking ones.
I also think the hospital bag is a funny thing, because I saw it on Instagram and it's like a real thing.
No, and it's terrible.
Yeah,
I should.
terrifying.
I did a whole video of what
you
was
did.
in mine. I'll send
Will
you
you
the
share
link.
it with me?
Yeah. But I found
linked now.
I found that I didn't use any of it. I just saw on Instagram what people were packing, and that's such a huge thing. And you feel like comparison, you have to like pack all this stuff. I just didn't use any of it. I just went home with the same bag.
Well, my best friend sent me hers from her last child, and I didn't even open it. And I just sent it straight to my husband, because I've decided he needs to be in charge of the hospital bag.
Yes, I agree.
He can sort it out, because he's going to be the one that's going to be compos mentis, and I'm going to be stressing. So he opened it, and the first one said change for parking. He was like, did you make this in like 1994? Like, who still needs change for parking? It's like, just move on to the next one. Like, he was just so obsessed that it had that.
I'll tell you one sweet one that I actually thought someone told me, and I included it in both my hospital bags. It doesn't matter what type of birth you have, but it's some little gifts for the hospital staff and the midwives and like doctors.
Nice.
That's lovely.
And after your birth, like whenever you're being checked out of the hospital, any of the midwives or team there that you felt like a real connection to, or that you really thought helped you out a lot, I packed a couple of little gift bags, and then I think a couple of like different scented candles, and I got like a pack of thank you cards, and I just like wrote them.
That's lovely.
That's lovely.
So that's a nice one that you might not think of.
No, that's such a lovely idea.
Love that.
I mean, as long as you have a good birth.
It's like, well, it depends on your
Take them
experience.
back.
Felt really lucky that
This is the candle you're not getting.
because
This is now for me.
in those first days, like first hours, like when I was being handed the baby to breastfeed stuff, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was like, those midwives were just like my rock. And also in COVID,
Totally.
Sienna, it was like,
Midwives are angels on earth. They
I
are
totally
so
agree.
incredible. And honestly, each time I go and I'm so nervous and I'm so anxious, the way that they just calm you and just make you feel so relaxed, they are incredible.
do you have any other questions you want to ask me or Charlie about what you need to do
Yeah.
to be prepared?
I don't know. Tell me, what do I need to do to be prepared, guys?
Have you done any hypnobirthing?
No, but I've got it in my list of things I need to do.
You want to do that?
I think it's good, even no matter what birth you have. I had a
Yeah.
fancy section, but I still did it, and you can do it for any kind of birth to help you prepare, whether you know or you don't know.
Yeah.
It just helps you to feel calm. That's one.
I've
thing
got
I'd
my
say is really
first
worth
session in
doing.
2 weeks, and I think that the woman described it really perfectly. She said it's all about your mindset. Ultimately, your body knows what to do instinctively, but your mind will get in the way because you're going to be nervous. So it's being prepared for that eventuality. And sometimes doctors or midwives will say things to you, and when you're in that moment, you don't know. So just come prepared with the knowledge that
Totally, knowledge is
a
power.
hypnobirthing can
Empower
give you.
yourself with all of the knowledge so that you can make the decisions that you want on the day.
Totally. And also, it might not go to plan, and that's okay. That just wasn't the journey you were supposed to go on. I've got a couple of friends that have had emergency C-sections, and it's so traumatizing at the time because that's not what you planned for. But don't fight it. Like, if that's what your body is saying it has to do, then that's the journey that you're on. So I know that hypnobirthing will be a good thing for me because I will be so nervous and I will be trying to control everything, and you can't.
Just, yeah.
can't,
Get rid of the
so-
expectation, basically.
Did you both do hypnobirthing?
I did, yeah.
I didn't, and I wish I had.
Really?
I have a very good friend who did it both times, and she just said she had an amazing experience. And she just said, yeah, your body just goes into like a very, very calm. You have to get yourself into that calm state.
I felt so calm.
Yeah.
That Hugo actually did a video of me, and I was meditating and listening to this like hypnobirthing meditation to prepare that you listen to like before you go in for the birth. And I honestly just walked in so calm and excited. I was like, I'm just ready to meet my baby.
Yeah,
And
she said the same.
I'm amazed that I
Wow.
managed to get myself into that state. I think I
Yeah.
actually almost drifted off. And this is when you know, okay, in an hour you're going to be giving birth via abdominal surgery while you're awake, which is quite nerve-wracking.
I know.
And I was just like, let's do it. I was just like so excited and not nervous at all,
That's incredible.
Yeah. There you
which
go.
I realised is really fortunate. And I feel awful that a lot of people don't have that birth experience. But if it's possible, and
I
you
suppose
can
with
prepare.
vaginal births, you just don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't know. But that's almost the joy. You'll just go into it and see what happens, right?
Exactly.
I'm so excited. For
Baby's
you.
got to come out somehow.
Yeah. And you're so excited about
Baby's
meeting
gonna
your
come
baby,
out.
right?
See you soon, baby. Not too soon. Not too soon.
Well, we are here anytime you want any advice. And when the babies come, if you've got any questions, you can literally WhatsApp me at any time. I'm normally awake in the night with one of the kids anyway. So
I think you'll take that back.
I'm going to
Millie?
send you recommendations. No, I
she
love,
won't.
I
She's
love,
Millie, where's the nappy bit?
I will send you links. I will send you, I literally love all of this stuff
Okay,
so
well
much.
then can you pick all the things I need so that
Yes.
I stop just
She
being
will.
in fear?
Yeah. Are you ready for our Made in Chelsea trivia quiz? Are you toff enough?
I hope this is the episode that I was in with you. If this isn't, do you, know,
Wait.
do you even remember this?
Yeah.
I want to know all
Okay,
about
so
this.
I was your intern at Glamour.
It was amazing. So, because Made in Chelsea is so raw footage, like not properly filmed. There aren't 5,000 cameras filming you at one time. Millie had to walk into the Glamour offices as the intern. And
I was actually
I was going to
interning.
say, were you actually the intern?
I was actually
This was
interning.
real.
She
But
absolutely
it just happened
was.
to be at the same time that I was
Right.
on the show.
So Joe Alvin, who was the editor of Glamour, said, my PA's away. Who wants to go and collect Millie from the entrance?
Stop it.
And bring her in. So I had just broken up with my boyfriend. And I thought, I'm just going to just be the yes girl because I just need to like do things, you know? I don't know. So I said it'll be me. So I went to get Millie and there was like 40 sound booms, everything following me. And I was like so skinny because I was so heartbroken. I was like walking through to go get Millie and everyone was waiting. I had one line for Made in Chelsea.
What
and I
was
went,
it?
"Hi, Sarah, I'm Millie." And then you just hear someone go, "Cut." I was like, "Oh, hi, Millie, I'm Sarah."
Acting career over.
Done.
Amazing.
That was my one moment on Made in Chelsea and I got the line wrong.
Do you not remember that they made me, because obviously it was constructed reality, they made Caggie come in and sit on my desk with a bottle of champagne and be like, "Babe, let's go for lunch." And then I got in trouble and had to go and see Joe.
What, you got in trouble
and
in
get
real life?
told off.
No.
But it was like constructed trouble, but then I actually got told off by Joe on the episode and I was like, but hang on, I didn't actually do anything wrong. And now I'm like getting a dressing down because it's like good TV.
So I hope that's what the question is today.
Okay.
We digress.
Who was
Well,
the
I'm not-
best cameo in Made in Chelsea ever?
So we've got a really exciting giveaway. I have had the pleasure of meeting one of my kind of heroes at an event, and I've met her a couple of times, but it's Elle Macpherson. And she just had the launch of her beauty brand, WelleCo, in Selfridges. And she's just so lovely. I went along to meet her and she has very kindly agreed to gift the whole of her WelleCo collection to one of our lucky listeners.
Wow, cool price.
The lucky winner will receive refillable caddies for the Super Elixir, Nourishing Protein and Sleep Well Calming Tea, as well as the Collagen Elixir, Skin Elixir, Hair Elixir, and finally the Immune Elixir. So it really is an amazing prize. So, okay, how can you enter? If you know the answer to this question, then you just need to comment on the relevant post. So the question is, what was Spencer's girlfriend's name in season 1? So the full T's and C's apply. You can find them in the show notes. The competition is open to global residents, excluding those from regions which WelleCo doesn't ship to. The competition closes at midnight on the Monday after this episode is released, and you can only enter once. The winner will be picked at random and contacted via DM on the Tuesday.
Loved all your skincare tips, and I will be taking them home with me tonight and starting from tomorrow.
Thank you for having me. Maybe I can be an actual Mumlemma next time.
Yes, come
That'd be
back.
exciting.
Please, and come to us anytime. Obviously, you don't need to wait till next season is out. Anytime you have any questions at all about anything.
Oh, thank
just
you.
Always ask. Honestly, I'm often up in the middle of the night, so
Millie's
don't
going to
be
regret
afraid
this. I'm
to
going to set up
message.
a WhatsApp group for us three.
Yes.
And they're going to be like, why are we in a WhatsApp group with Sarah Jossel?
I love it.
I love it. We'll ask you skincare advice, and you can ask us
Yes, should we swap it?
baby-related advice.
Done.
Oh,
Perfect.
I'm
done.
there.
Deal.
Done.
Pleasure doing business.
Love it.
So you can find Sarah at Sarah Jossel on Instagram, and you can also watch her on This Morning or read her fabulous column in the Sunny Times style. I found it really interesting what Sarah was saying about changes in the skin during pregnancy. I know we both experienced that maybe in slightly different ways, and just about how confusing it is when even your healthcare provider can't tell you what's safe to use. It's
So
a bit
true.
of a minefield.
It's a massive minefield. I loved how she kind of unpacked skincare after pregnancy as well. I feel like that's the stage we're in. And it's really confusing. And I actually have my skin's so different to how it was before. So I actually have no idea. So she's really saved me there. As always, guys, we are not experts. We're definitely not doctors. So if you have any questions or concerns about any of the topics we've discussed today, please contact a professional.
Thanks again to our season sponsor, Mumlemmas, and it's finally discount code time. You can treat yourself with our special code MillieM for 25% off the full range.
I can't believe we're at the end of this season. Just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's tuned in, all our listeners. We've had the best time, haven't we, Mill?
Yeah, I've enjoyed this one even more than the
Me
first.
too.
I think we've really got into it. It's been really good fun, and I'm excited for season 3 already.
Yeah, see you next time. Guys, we want to hear from you too. Have you got a Mumlemma that you'd like to share? One that we can try and help you with?
If you do, then email us at mm@basementchats.com or DM us on Instagram at basementchats.
You can also check out our YouTube channel for behind the scenes clips. Just search Mumlemmas. Thanks to audio producer Laura Gallup of Feast Collective and the rest of our amazing team who make this podcast happen. Not forgetting Basement Chats for creating this space where we can have this chat.
Please note, everything that we chat about on this podcast is just our honest and most authentic thoughts, but we are not experts. So please do consult with your GP or with a professional if you want to find out more about any of the topics that we have discussed.